My sister and my friend come up with this crazy plan to steal my husband. This is a wild one, let's jump right into it. I'm not usually the jealous type, but I recognize shady behavior and act accordingly. When it comes to my relationship, I do not play around. A woman whom I thought of as a friend recently betrayed me but failed dismally to get what she wanted from me. I'm a female 31, got married about a year ago to my husband Stefan, who's 33 and is the best. He's successful, loyal, and makes me happy. He's also very goal-oriented because he comes from a successful family, which is something that I have in common with him. I'm one of the highest paid workers at my company, and I'm working my way to the top to become a partner. I do not have many friends and try to keep my circle small, so for my wedding, I only wanted a small bridal party. But my mother likes to do things overboard and ended up organizing a very big but beautiful wedding for me. This was when I saw Angela, again for the first time in 10 years. Angela had been someone I hung out with in high school, but it turned out she was good friends with my sister, Susan. Things between us were good, but we were not best friends in the least. But I allowed her to be my bridesmaid. All throughout the wedding, she kept on complimenting me and my husband, saying that we're a power couple, which I did really appreciate. But she started to want to hang out with me a lot after my husband and I's wedding. We were a newlywed couple, but she and my sister would not give us space. They were at our house 24/7. I knew my sister was just there to empty my fridge. She did not even have a job because, once again, she's been fired. She could not hold a stable job no matter what, and it was because of her attitude, but she had such a strong personality that I often found it hard to tell her to go away. And then my husband did something that I disapproved of as soon as I found out about it. His family is one of the richest in town, which is something that I did not know until we've been dating for quite a while. It was a big shock for me, but I did not care that much because I make my own money, and was not going to just stop because he was rich. His family absolutely loved me, especially his mother, but it took us a while to warm up to each other. But back to the thing that he did. He gifted my sister with a house, of all things. You have no idea how mad I was, because I knew that she did not deserve it. I let her keep the house, but warned her not to milk my husband for any more money. She was not so happy about my reaction, but after a while she got over it. But her friend, on the other hand, started coming to my house frequently. She made the silliest excuses to come by, and once she was there, I could not get her to leave. The lady could talk, and I mean talk. I ended up cooking dinner and offering it to her at times because, well, I did not want to kick her out. My mother told me she was probably lonely and just wanted to become friends with me again. But even in the past, we weren't so close. I could not get what made her think that we were best friends. But she also told me to be very careful, because, well, I was the envy of many women in town. After all, I married a rich man. Another thing that I hated was how friendly she was with my husband. She went from being intimidated by him to thinking that he was one of her best friends. She had this voice that she would use around him, and it annoyed the hell out of me. I started to wonder if she even had a job, because she sure loved to come by my house. And once she came to the house, she would ignore me and pay attention to my husband. I did not let him know that I did not like having her around, because I like to play the long game. I wanted to see how long it would be before she made a move on my husband, because I just know these things. When I told my sister that her friend was getting a little too close to my man, she told me to chill out, and that by being jealous, I was letting give her a chance. And stupidly, I thought that my sister was on my side, while she was plotting my downfall. I think the one thing that truly irked me and made me finally confront Angela was the charity gala with my in-laws. My whole family have been invited, but I was running late. I had to do a speech with my husband and at the main table with my in-laws. I was late because for some strange reason, I was told that I had to cancel my hair appointment and had to wait hours to get an emergency hair treatment. I could not have just gone like that because, well, with in-laws like mine, appearance is everything. When I got there, I found that Angela was sitting where I was supposed to sit, right beside my husband, and everyone seemed to be having a great time. I tried my hardest not to lose it, but I sternly asked her what she was doing at my seat. That was beyond disrespectful, and I wonder who even invited her to the dinner. She acted innocent and said that she did not mean to make me so angry. Just thought it would be a bad look if my husband was sitting alone and no one even noticed. My mother-in-law said that they just needed the donors to thank the family, and it was complete and told me not to stress too much, then playfully scolded me for being late. She left my seat, but by then my mood had already gone sour. I could not enjoy the charity dinner. When I got home that night, I told my husband I never wanted to see him speak to Angela ever again. He asked if it was about the seat, and I told him no. She was in love with him and was trying to make him and take him away from me. I seriously thought I was overheating and that she was just a good friend of my sister's. I told him that it was final, and if I saw her in my house again, we would have problems. I knew my husband would not cheat on me with her, but I'm not naive. Anything's possible. The more I became aware of her crush on my husband, the more I wish she would just disappear to the other side of the country. Because, well, she was everywhere, almost as if she had our schedule. She'd stop coming to our house after I told her that my husband was busy with work-related stuff. And we're not entertaining visitors, but she followed us everywhere. The way she hung on to my husband's every word was so embarrassing and tacky that I did not know how he did not see it. I was seen as the jealous green monster while she slowly charmed everyone in the family, and there was no way for me to get rid of her because, believe me, I wanted her out of my life. But what I did not see coming was the betrayal from someone who was supposed to love me and have my back. One evening, Susan invited me over to her place for a girls' night, and even after protesting, I found myself at her place with a few other girls, including Angela. There was such bad vibes between me and Angela that no one could miss it. And I was so angry that my sister invited her when she knew that I wanted her nowhere near me. I was seriously starting to question why my sister always insisted on having Angela always at the gatherings. I decided to go into the kitchen to get someone drinks, but found my sister and Angela huddled in a little corner. I quickly moved out of view, but that was when I saw them putting something in a glass of wine. Then I went back to where I was because, well, I wanted to see what they were going to do. Susan came out of the kitchen and offered me the same drink that they messed with. Up until then, it's only been suspicion that they were working together to try to get Angela to seduce my husband. Everything came together at once. They planned to drug me, while Angela would get to my husband while I was not there. My sister and I might have our differences, but I thought that at least since we were family and blood, she would have my back and not try to stab it. I took the wine, pretended to drink it, then when they got distracted, I poured it into a corner. I would have liked to thrown it both at their faces because I was livid. But I had to teach them a lesson that they would never forget. A few minutes later, I slumped over as if I was asleep and things I heard. They pretty much confessed that once Angela got to be Stefan's wife, they would have all the money and power they ever wanted. They said that I could not have everything, a successful career, rich in-laws, a handsome husband, while they both struggled to get decent jobs. They're very entitled people, but what they forgot is how I worked hard for everything I have. We might have partied together, but the difference was that I made sure to study, and not only focus on these trivial things. They went away to get Angela dressed, which was when I took my sister's phone, that she left laying around, and checked her chats with Angela. I did not hesitate. I took screenshots and forwarded them to my family group and my husband. Her phone started buzzing with texts from family members telling her that she was a traitor for trying to get her friend to steal my husband. They came back from Susan's room with Angela dressed in some tiny dress, but nearly fell when they saw that I was not asleep as they left me. I told them to save whatever they had to say because I knew everything, from their plan to drug me to the ones they made before when my sister was helping Angela try to steal my man. I told her that her plans were weak and would never work because my man wanted someone who would bring something to the table. He's dated countless versions of Angela and would never go down that road again. My sister started to shout at Angela and make her seem like the bad guy. But I told her to save it. I've seen all her chats while she was showing her the phone. She grabbed the phone and said there was nothing I can do and she could easily destroy those messages. I told her to do it. Everyone already knew what kind of snake she was. I called an Uber to drive me over to the place before I committed a crime right then and there. Stefan had been nothing but good to my sister, and this was how she repaid him, by trying to trick him into marrying her dumb friend. I should have ripped it into her, but a lot earlier, then I would have never found out who the snake in my life was. The first thing I told my husband was that I told him so. He could not believe the chats that I sent to him, and he was so angry at my sister. His anger only increased when I told him their plan to drug me that night. He said that was enough, and enough they were not going to hurt me anymore. He made a call and told me that my sister was going to get a rude awakening the next day. My phone was blowing up with messages from family members telling me the stuff my sister's been up to, and I had to explain to everyone what happened and how she drugged me. My mother is a cool person, but getting on her wrong side is like going on a suicide mission. She was so angry and disappointed in my sister and Angela. I was just glad that everyone believed me, and luckily I did not get drugged. A dark thought that often comes to my mind when I think about the situation is what Angela would have done after getting to my place. What if she was going to drug my husband as well? And then unspeakable things would have happened. From the text messages and what they confessed when they thought that I was sleeping, I knew they wanted money because they could not get off their backs and work. They just wanted everything to be handed to them, and then when it was not enough, they would bite the hand that feeds them. The very next morning, my husband and I went to my sister's house, but it seemed that my mother beat us to it because I could hear her when I was still in the street. My mother gave me a warm hug as soon as she saw me and told me that she was going to teach those two rascals a lesson. Angela and my sister were looking worse for wear and miserable, which made me very happy and only gave me more satisfaction in doing what I was about to do. I told my sister she had an hour to pack her stuff and leave. If she did not, she would be escorted by the police. She started begging me not to take away her house, and told me that it was all Angela's idea. If Angela had put a gun on her head and forced her to help. I told her that she better stop trying to beg me to be lenient on her and pack her stuff before an hour, or I would call the police to escort her off my husband's property. She tried even more to appeal to my husband, but he told her that they both disgusted him for what they had tried to do. He also told her she had lost a lot for nothing, because Angela would never be me and he would never love her. As for Angela, my mother took her by the ear and started to drag her out the house, calling her a homewrecker. My sister ran away crying, but sure enough, an hour later she had all her bags ready to go. I told her that she was no longer my sister after she tried to take everything away from me, and if I caught her anywhere near me or my husband again, I would not have mercy. The whole family supported her, and she was seen as the villain that she was. My mother-in-law even wanted to send her to jail for trying to drug me, because no one messes with our family. But I told her they were both not worth wasting our time on. But she did make sure that no one in town hires them ever again because of the influence of our family. I've not spoken to my sister ever since that day, and I don't want to. We came from the same womb, but she was so quick to forget that and supported a stranger who wanted to take everything from someone so important to me. Her jealousy is on another level, and if she does not get rid of it soon, it'll cause her to destroy her life even more. Even my mother is tired of trying to show her the way, but people like her learn the hard way. If this story was true, it has to be one of the craziest ones we've ever read. How cold-blooded and vile OP's sister is. I'm glad at the end that her family cut her off. Guys, let me know what you thought about this story. Drop your opinions down below. What you would do if you were in OP's position. The next story that we're going to look at today is an Am I the A-hole story titled, Am I the A-hole for publicly humiliating my mom? Guys, if you're new to the channel, just know there's a lot of people who watch the videos who are not subscribed. It really helps me out massively. So please subscribe if you're enjoying. Here's story number 2. I'm 24, female, and I have a half-brother, Ethan, who's 17. When I was 16, our mother married her new husband and has 2 kids with him. Ethan's father isn't in his life, so he stays with him full time. But I spend more time with my dad and his family because I just get along better with them. I love my mom, but she can be a bit much sometimes, so I rarely see her. Ethan and I text occasionally. It was my mother's birthday a few days ago, and while I was visiting, I noticed that Ethan and my newborn half-sibling weren't around. I asked my mom where they were, and she said that she asked Ethan to check up on the baby while she took a break. We were all in the backyard, by the way, which is massive. But yeah, okay, no biggie. But sometimes later, I still could not find him, and so I went to Ethan's room, and he's rocking the baby while she's inconsolable. And he's crying too because she won't stop. There were diapers and baby formula everywhere, and he was saying that he tried everything, but she simply won't stop. I managed to calm them both down somehow and asked Ethan why he'd not just call someone for help. He said that he's usually really good, and his mom makes him take care of the baby all the time. So he just panicked. He then told me that he helped out with the other half-sister when she was a baby as well, and still takes care of her. I was really upset. I mean, yes, there's nothing wrong with needing a break, but Ethan's a 17-year-old boy. He's not a father or a mother, but apparently he takes care of our half-siblings more than our mom and stepdad. I walked up to my mom while she was talking to a group of people, and basically told her that I can't believe she's dumping all her responsibilities on Ethan. She knew what I was talking about immediately, told me to relax and that Ethan likes it, blah blah blah. I told her that while she was out here having a blast, her son was sobbing in his room because of how overwhelmed he was. She got really red and everyone went silent, which was awkward, but yeah. I later got a call from my mom saying that she respects my opinion on the situation, but that I did not need to publicly humiliate her in front of her friends and coworkers. Apparently, her boss was there too, and he's being very cold to her. I don't know, I just can't get Ethan out of my head. Am I the a-hole for this situation? Drop it in the comment section below. So, I have a couple things I want to say about this story. Let's turn our attention to the number one comment. You did not humiliate her in front of people. Her own behavior humiliated her in front of people, and now she's transferring the blame to you. If she had done nothing wrong, why would she be embarrassed by what you said? Not the a-hole. Guys, I think that puts it into perfect terms, and I agree. Not the a-hole in my decision, but let me know your opinion. Drop it down below and let's talk about it, guys. That's all the content I have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and as always, Mr. Reddito will be here tomorrow with more daily videos. Have a great day, guys. I'll catch you later. The latest Mr. Reddito producer, Christine Billings. Thank you so much for the support.